Welcome back to the LOSP. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Acronym right there? You like that?
Got it. LivingOnSports.com.
Yeah, well, I left the .com, the DC part out of it. Hey, welcome back. I am Michael Spencer, joined as always by Cheston McGuire. And NCAA football time now. Oklahoma. You know, the rankings, and we've been saying this since we started the show, the rankings this year have just been way screwy.
Oh, even between the USA Today and AP, there is no real consistency between the two, but especially with the AP right now.
Way screwy. The AP has been really, really bad. They've got Oklahoma 2-2, still in the top 20, and I believe you have a problem with that.
I do. You're 2-2, and you've beaten Tulsa, and I forget who else, but 2 cupcakes.
And you've lost to a top 10 team and a top 20 team, both without your starting quarterback.
Yeah, but that means if you don't have your starting quarterback, you're not a top 20 team right now. And I think the teams behind them, Ole Miss, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, South Florida, Mizzou, and South Carolina, have no reason to be behind them.
Ole Miss lost to South Carolina at home.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah.
Well, at South Carolina is what I meant.
Oklahoma, though, has lost 2 games. I mean, granted, like you said, there was no Sam Bradford, but it's not like Landry Jones had a bad game.
2 games, both on the road, though. And both weren't blowouts.
No, neither were blowouts. But
and Oklahoma's
just got a real problem with
decent team. They're still gonna compete for the Big 12 South.
I'm starting to think maybe their season's close to being done right now. I'm thinking Texas is the only team that is going to be coming out of there right now. They're going to beat Oklahoma.
Well, I'm not saying that Texas isn't coming out of there, but I am going to say that Oklahoma is going to compete.
I just think they're done. I mean, Bradford's talking about surgery right now, and with or without Bradford right now, you got 2 losses. You're not a top 20 team in my mind. Not when you got 2 teams behind them, undefeated. Granted, they don't have the hardest schedule in the world, but they've won their games.
So who should be ahead of them? Mizzou?
Nebraska, Georgia Tech.
Nebraska should not be ahead of Oklahoma.
They went to Virginia Tech and lost in the last second. And Virginia Tech's number 5 right now. You're not telling me they're the number 5
Virginia
loss?
Tech, okay, we just talked about how screwy the rankings were, and you're going to throw out the Virginia Tech's number 5. Virginia Tech is not that good.
They lost to Alabama only. They beat Nebraska. They beat Miami. Miami.
I'm saying Nebraska's not that good either.
Well, who do you think is good?
Texas and Florida.
No Alabama? No LSU?
Maybe Alabama. No, we'll see how LSU does this week.
Okay.
Speaking of this week, some good games on the matchup this week. Bama and Mississippi. I think Bama's going to handle them because I think Mississippi
is over there. This year's Missouri.
They are way, way overrated, as my mic decides to cut out. And LSU, Florida. I think that's going to be a good game with or without Tebow. I think Florida still wins.
Tebow doesn't play. I think they definitely lose. Urban Meyer's never won in Baton Rouge, and I think without Tebow, Brantley's a good quarterback, but he's no Tim Tebow.
And we've got a good game Thursday here in Columbia.
Yeah, I'm one of the few Mizzou fans that thinks Nebraska's going to win.
That's because you're one of the few Mizzou fans that has a brain. One of the few Mizzou fans that isn't drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, I just haven't been that impressed. We beat a terrible Illinois team that just benched Juice Williams, their 4-year starter. Barely beat Bowling Green. Struggled at first with Furman. Yeah, we ran away with it in the end. And Nevada put a pretty good game against us.
Then Mizzou has got to start fast. And if they don't start fast, they will lose.
No, and Nebraska's got a good defense, and we've been struggling against good defense.
Are you part of the team? Don't say we.
I am part of the school, so I get to do
buddy.
Part of the organization. I pay the dues that pay the coaches.
I'm closer to being part of the team, and I'm not allowed to say we.
I generally don't say we, but when college, I say you're allowed to because you're part of university. You're part of that.
That's a debate we need to have sometime on here because I go back and forth on this about whether or not you can use we or whether or not you're
I've always taken a huge
team.
stand on we. When people would say we on professional sports, I would really say, oh, really? What position
how
are
does
you?
that make any difference?
Because you're not part. I'm actually part of the university. I pay the salary. I don't personally pay Gary Pinkel or anything else, but my dues go toward things like that, and I am part of the entity of that.
The only thing that goes towards that is the athletic apparel that you buy and your ticket sales.
Well, I buy both of those.
Okay, well, you buy both of those for your Redskins too.
I see it as different though because I am part of the student.
How is that different?
These players are part of the student body with me.
Okay, so they go to they quote unquote go to class with you.
Well, I've seen certain players, Sean Witherspoon, in class before.
Okay, well, some of them go to class, others of them don't. That still doesn't make you part of their team.
See, I disagree because I see a college sport team is more than just a team. It's the university. They represent the university, and they represent me.
Pro
I'm a
teams represent the town.
Who represents New York City?
a lot of
Yankees,
teams.
Mets.
Yeah, both
Knicks.
of them actually.
What I'm saying is, I think that they represent only our campus. I mean, the Yankees can represent me being in DC.
So the Mizzou Tigers do not represent the entire state of Missouri. It's the flagship university.
Yes, but I still say that they represent the University of Missouri. And the University of Missouri is comprised of the 30,000 students, including myself. That's why I don't know why this is the debate we're having right now.
No, we're having this debate right now. It just turned into it.
Well, you say that sometimes you go back and forth. Why is it sometimes you say we and you're okay with it?
Well, I work for the team, so I feel like,
I'm
allowed
working for the
to
team.
say we.
I agree with that.
But, and it's the same argument that I'm arguing against the fact that, yes, I pay a lot of money, but I'm not part of the team. I don't work out with them. I'm not in the huddle with them. I don't go to practice with them. I don't think I should be allowed to call myself part of the team.
See, I disagree. I see certain players that are on the sideline, and yeah, they practice, but what do they contribute in the end? They don't contribute against the first team guys. They don't do anything, but they're still part of the team.
Yeah, well, if you want to go and get up early
All right, fine.
in the morning,
I will go.
Work out,
I will go walk on to the team.
If you want to go walk on, then yes, you're allowed to say we.
I got 4 years of eligibility. I will do this.
Hey, go right ahead, and we'll see how long you last. Because I guarantee you, it won't be very long. Speaking of being part of the team, or maybe not being part of the team, LeGarrette Blount up for reinstatement at the University of Oregon. Blount, as you might remember, threw a sucker punch at a Boise State player
and almost fought the entire crowd.
Yeah, he was ready to take on the entire University of Boise. All of them, all the we that call themselves Bronco Nation. Do you think he should be reinstated?
I think so. I didn't really agree with the whole season suspension in the first place, and he seems somewhat contrite. I mean, he missed some practice at first, and I said they still wanted to work out with the team, and he didn't. He was pissed at first, and understandably so, but I think, give him a second chance.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think the year-long suspension was way too long, and there must have been something that happened in that locker room that nobody will ever know about that led to that. But I don't think that you teach the kid by suspending him for the rest of the year that he did something wrong. A professional athlete, maybe. A college kid, not so much.
No, this is a 21-year-old kid that has worked his whole life to be in the position, and it could cost him his future.
It really could. It could cost him a date with the NFL. But I hope they do reinstate him. But it looks incredibly bad on Oregon's part that you come out and say he's suspended for the rest of the year, and now you're saying, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I thought they just made a mistake in the first. I should have said, we're going to suspend him. We'll let you know we're going to put him back on.
Exactly.
So they could leave this door open.
Go ahead and suspend him indefinitely. Don't come out and say we're going to suspend him for this, because now you look terrible going back on what you said.
Or maybe just do what Goodell did for Vic. He'll be suspended he'll be eligible after week 4.
Exactly.
And then we'll reassess. And if he's done his bit, then you could do it. But they handled that completely wrong. It's going to show poorly upon them, but I will applaud their effort in putting him back on the team.
Well, and you hope that he takes it with everything that he can and learns from it and really does feel sorry, because you can send out all the apology letters in your student newspaper that you want to. Until you actually mean it, it doesn't mean anything.
No, I agree. I hope he gets to play again, though.
All right, you touched on this before we went to break. Auburn, the 5-0 Tigers, who haven't beaten anybody.
2-0 in the SEC, and that's never. I mean, granted, it was Tennessee and Mississippi State, but I think that they made the right. Last year, they were abysmal, and everyone called them racist and stupid, but I think they made a right hire.
Well, I think that people who called them racist and stupid were racist and stupid. And that's saying a lot for me, because I love Charles Barkley dearly.
He's your hero.
He is. Growing up, I wanted to be number 34 for the Phoenix Suns. But I'm glad Gene Chizik is doing well. I like it when Auburn does well. They're one of those teams that I always want to see as a perennial powerhouse, and I'm glad they're getting back up there. Do I think Turner Gill could have done the job? Yes, but they chose Gene Chizik. The reason Gene Chizik got so much flack for that was because he did terrible at Iowa State.
He was awful.
But anybody's going to do terrible at Iowa State. It's Iowa State, for goodness sakes. Have you ever been to Ames, Iowa? Why you would want to go there, I don't know. I've been there twice, and I couldn't wait to leave.
Last Iowa State alum that was any good? I believe it was Paul Shirley.
Seneca Wallace.
Well, all right, I'll give him that too.
Seneca Wallace,
and if you look at it, Turner Gill is 1-4 right now. He's struggling.
They're struggling. Might have been just a hot season for Mr. Gill. Hey, when we come back, we'll touch on some baseball and some other random stuff coming up next.